From the dark recesses of the video game world, there is a game. Overlooked as merely a movie-based game, Bram Stoker's Dracula is truly an underrated gem. This particular title was mass released on virtually everything in 1993, just 1 year after the film. This particular version is on the Super Nintendo. It has been universally panned and criticized, and there are some areas where I can see why, but I'll get to that. Most movie-based games are usually terrible and have little in common with its source material, but this one has just enough to be relevant. The plot of the game, like the film, has Keanu Reeves, Jonathan Harker, the one true hero from the original novel, traveling to Dracula's castle. The game itself never explicitly tells you anything, which happens quite often in games, but being a movie-based game and on a more advanced system, you think it would give some sort of backstory. This is a classic time where it relies on the player having seen the film. It has a pretty sweet intro with an armor-clad Dracula standing on the ancient battlefield, letting you know that you're in for quite a struggle. The game has 3 difficulties, with the lowest one ending at about halfway through the game, which is a waste of time. The other difficulties aren't all that hard, but you only get one continue on hard, and if you fuck up too much, game over. The graphics and animations aren't all that bad, and the control is decent enough. What the issue is that when you get hit, you don't get invincibility frames, meaning on tight, close obstacles, you get shredded. As far as the graphics go, the game does create some creepy atmospheres, and the music in many stages lends itself perfectly for the level that it's on. This game is very much in the vein as Castlevania. The first weapon the game gives you is this dinky little knife, but almost immediately Van Helsing tells you to get a sword. But even though it gives you more power and range, enemies still sprint up to you and hit you, while you're swinging like a maniac. In most levels you have to find Van Helsing in order to advance to the next stage. This forces you to explore a little more. But why do that? You're bound to get hit too much and maybe lose one of your valuable lives. The game's bosses are the highlight, as with any other game. They may be extremely easy, but there are a few that stand out. The second stage boss is this awesome dragon that's probably one of the best sprites for a dragon in any game I've played. You may ask, why is there a dragon in a Dracula game? Well, it has to do with the history of the real man. There are also several forms of Dracula you have to fight, ranging from his carriage driver form, to his old form, well-dressed Gary Oldman form, giant werewolf, and my personal favorite, his demonic bat form. At the end of the game, you traverse through what looks like Bowser's castle to the final battle with Dracula, and he's in his dragon armor. Kind of appropriate, but I wish it was one of his demonic forms. And for your efforts, you get to watch the castle casually crumble. Huh, this looks like a crappier version of Castlevania crumbling to dust. In the end, the game is okay. It's not as horrible as people once thought when it came out, and it does have some issues, but it does offer some fun. But really, this game is mostly for Dracula fans. If you don't like the film, mythology of the characters, or hell, if you're someone who doesn't care for Castlevania, this isn't for you. But my personal recommendation is to try it out. Anyways, fly back next week where I play another gem from the past.